I personally heard the Prime Minister announce the most unprecedented immigration cut in Canadian history. A stop to the low-wage temporary foreign worker program.
We are tightening the rules and restricting eligibility to reduce the number of low-wage temporary foreign workers in Canada.
But what the press isn't emphasizing is this part.
This fall, we'll be presenting for the first time an immigration's levels plan that doesn't just talk about permanent residents, but also talks about temporary residents, whether it's foreign workers.
Which is basically the Prime Minister saying all immigrant groups are under the microscope of immigration reduction. In light of this, I prepared a very simple to understand video to explain the options you have that are left if you want to stay and contribute to Canada. First, let's do a recap. Here's the timeline of events. August 13th, 2024. A UN report criticized Canada for the poor treatment of migrant workers, calling it a breeding ground for slavery. August 20th, 2024. Canada paused approvals for low-wage temporary foreign workers in Montreal due to high unemployment and concerns about worker exploitation. August 27th, 2024, Ottawa announced plans to reduce the number of temporary foreign workers and possibly limit permanent resident admission. What does it all mean? First, unemployment-based processing. LMIA applications for low-wage jobs will not be processed in areas with unemployment rates of 6% or higher. 2. Lower cap on foreign workers. The cap on low-wage foreign workers an employer can hire is reduced from 20% to 10%. And third, shorter job duration. The maximum employment term for low-wage foreign workers is now cut from 2 years to 1 year. And probably the biggest change is that you can no longer change from visitor to work visa inside Canada. So coming here as a tourist to find a job at a local restaurant and then applying for permanent residency is no longer an option. Now let's talk about PR pathways. One of the worst things that happened as Ontario and BC tightened their regulations, immigrants started moving to Atlantic Canada. And as a result, New Brunswick paused 2 provincial nominee programs very recently. With all these changes, what are the PR pathways left for international students and other immigrants in Canada? Number 1, category-based express entry. If you have 1 year of high-skilled work experience in one of these 5 categories, PR becomes way easier. The answer hides in here. Notice how the Canadian experience class draws compare to the category-specific draws like healthcare or trades. The bar is way lower for such occupations. How do you know if your job leads to PR? If you don't know yet, we built a free tool to check this. PR Indicator. The link will be in the description. Number 2, French opens PR doors. Check out how low your CRS score has to be to get invited to apply through the French language proficiency category. At our last event in Portugal, I spoke with a young lady who went to school in England and gained 1 year of work experience as a psychologist, and now wants to come to Canada. Normally, she would need to move to Canada, study, get Canadian work experience, and then apply for PR. But guess what? Because she speaks French, PR becomes possible, even from abroad. No matter how many immigration streams close, French diversification will remain the government's priorities. So my advice to you is learn French. And we are now partnering with a French school to offer classes from absolute zero to PR through French in 1 year. And unlike other schools, this one in Montreal has ex-TAFE examiners, meaning they will prepare you to pass the French language test specifically. If you are interested, the link will be in the description as well. Number 3, humanitarian and compassionate PR, HNC. This pathway is becoming available to certain groups of people. Here's a good case. You have been in Canada for 4+ years, so you're part of the community, you work, pay taxes, and you don't qualify for regular PR streams. And very important, going back home is dangerous for you or your family. HNC can be a great pathway for you, but it's not that easy, as unlike other programs where you get a score for age, education, work experience, this one is at the discretion of the visa officer, meaning it's all about how you build the case. So here's something important. You need to check with a legal professional to see your success rate. If you'd like to work with one of our lawyers, the link to check out our HNC service and support will be in the description. Additionally, I would recommend you watch this video up here for a full breakdown of HNC. Number 4, spousal sponsorship. This is a PR stream that will never get cut as it has to do with human rights. If you are in a genuine relationship with a Canadian permanent resident or citizen, you may consider applying. And note that you do not need to be married, as Canada recognizes common law partnerships. Also, Canada recognizes LGBT couples, so this could be an opportunity you would not have otherwise back home. To apply for spousal sponsorship in Canada, the most important documents include 1. Sponsorships and immigration forms like IMM 1344. Number 2, identity and civil status documents, passports, birth certificates, and marriage certificates. Number 3, proof of relationship, photos, communication history, and joint financial statements. Number 4, police certificates from every country where the applicant has lived for more than 6 months. Number 5, medical exam, proof of medical examination. Last but not least, the 5th pathway is PNP. There are many streams for STEM, childcare, health, and trade professionals. As an example of the latter one is Nova Scotia's critical construction worker. Here's how the Minister of Immigration of Nova Scotia explained it to me.
Right away, it's the job offer, and I'm sure that many of your viewers would know that too. So making sure that you do have a connection to an employer here in Nova Scotia, you have that job offer in hand, then you apply to the Nova Scotia immigration stream, so putting an application through. So once you have your nomination from the province, you can then apply for your temporary work permit or then ultimately your permanent residency. As an example, drywallers, roofers, and so other occupations that are connected to the home building sector. But as we've mentioned, it's a pilot and we want to be able to see how this is going to unfold. If it's successful, who knows what the other options might be.
I know it was a lot of information for you, and trust me, so many people are uncertain about their future. Like 90% of immigrants I speak with say the same. If you want to make it a bit easier for yourself, consider working with one of our lawyers, and it all starts from a consultation that can determine what works better in your specific situation. The link will be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know in the comments what challenges you are facing right now as an immigrant and what you think about these new changes. As the video to watch next, I would recommend the agency one that we spoke about earlier today, and please remember to subscribe because there's a lot more content to come.